thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone, for episode 414 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, and driving 1,000 miles across the Midwest after a successful 2024 Arnold trip. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
And if you're just listening, audio only, you might not recognize this episode as being particularly different than normal. But if you're watching on YouTube, you are in for...
You would know Tanner got a haircut.
Yeah. That's right. That's why this episode is special. I did get a haircut. I did actually get a haircut, and I guess we can touch more on that. But why this episode is particularly special is we're going back to our roots on this one. We haven't recorded a car talk episode in quite some time.
It's probably been, 3 years? It's been a while, actually, you could say.
I don't have the stained button in front of me. Otherwise, cue the stained button. It's been a while. So we are here in the car. We're somewhere rural Iowa right now.
I think we're just west of Des Moines at the moment. We took a slightly different route on the way back. We may have been talking and not paying attention to directions, but...
Big Massenomics planning sessions, and we got wrapped up and zigged when we should have zagged. And it is the Monday after the Arnold. We packed up last night, got on the road, crashed in a hotel, and here we are Monday morning on our way back to South Dakota. And first of all, I want to make sure everyone knows that this episode is brought to you by Juggernaut AI. Juggernaut AI is like having one of the world's greatest powerlifting coaches right in the palm of your hand, right in your pocket, or right wherever it is you keep your phone. Talked to several crew members and people that just came up to the booth this weekend at the Arnold that know that we're Juggernaut AI supporters. They came up and said, gave us many success stories about the pounds that they have gained on their lifts while using Juggernaut AI. One of those supporting member, Big Kevin, mentioned I think he's put on over 300 pounds to his total.
Damn, Kevin, slow down, man.
Yeah, so you can use discount code Massenomics if you choose to sign up. Just make sure when you do that, you sign up through the browser. You can't go through the app. You go through the browser. Use discount code Massenomics. Save yourself 10%. JuggernautAI.app.
And this episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. We had the privilege of attending the Arnold with the good folks from Bearfoot Shoes. Ryan, Shelby, and Blake all made it. And they had a rockin' display. They had lots of people stopping by, trying the barefoot revolution, seeing what it's all about. From speaking to them, sounds like they had an awesome Arnold weekend as well. But Bearfoot Shoes have been our favorite footwear to wear in the gym and also out of the gym lately. Especially, we're coming through the winter time. They have their excellent Bruin boots, full grain leather, really holds up to the elements of South Dakota. So, if you are in the market for a pair of Bearfoot shoes, or maybe you're not in the market, maybe you just need a pair of Bearfoot shoes, make sure you head over to www.barefoot.store, and while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
We got to even hear some secret stuff from their R&D department that we can't share, but just like top secret stuff that only we know. So this is going to be like the Arnold recap, right? Then we're going to go through everything that happened.
Yep.
I do have a voice. If you're listening, it might sound slightly different than normal. It's because my voice is just hanging on by a few threads this year.
Done with 3 days of yelling at the expo, plus roughly 24 hours of talking about Massenomics pre-expo, and now many, many hours of talking about Massenomics post-expo. So I probably do more talking in the first week of March than I do in the first entire quarter of the year.
Yeah, no kidding. So are we going to go through the timeline a little bit? Just hit some highlights.
Should we start at the beginning for the rundown?
Do we prepare this rundown fully here?
Yeah.
And then eventually we'll hit a little supporting our supporting members. We'll do a few more ad reads. Obviously, we're not going to have a guest this week we didn't pack any of the crew members in the backseat of the pickup here. So
It would be a real awesome reveal, though. 45 minutes in,
Yeah.
someone pops up out of the backseat and they're the guest on the episode.
so they can see the trailer and stuff there, can't they?
Yeah, they should be able to see that, yep.
Okay.
Also, kind of a cool look for us, the wide-angle car talk.
Yeah.
Should we review this F-150? Really
Oh,
give
yeah.
the ins and
We have a
outs of
little, on the 2014 Ford F-150 extended cab. STX edition.
This one's sitting a little lower. There's a few extra items in it than when
that'll be
than
exciting.
we came to the Arnold. But we'll get more to that one later.
So I left Tuesday night from western northeast South Dakota to travel to Tommy's house in eastern southeast South Dakota. Did a podcast on the road. We recorded the Strengco's OK podcast, so make sure to give that a listen.
We listened to it earlier this morning.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Also, you can check out Let's Get Stupid.
You also did
an
a road
Arnold
podcast.
preview with them as well, so you can listen to both of those this week.
Wait, did you record that one on the road
That one
too?
was like the night before I left or something like that. So
I was going to say, God, you did 3 road podcasts in the course of a week?
Right, no, just 2, but I've done like 3 or 4 Arnold podcasts in the course of a week.
You're a bit of a subject matter expert at this
I'm
point.
becoming one, at least. I'm really good at talking about it anyways, but got to Tommy's house late. All we did was crash, then get up really early Wednesday morning to get on the road,
Yeah,
right?
did we get up at 4:30? Is that what it was?
Yes. Yeah.
4:30 on the road shortly after 5.
Yep.
And the trip started pretty uneventful. Actually, the whole trip, spoiler alert, was fairly uneventful.
Right. Knock on.
Yeah, right. We're not
wood.
there yet.
I don't have any fake wood grain.
Driving though, the first event of the trip was Cedar Rapids. Met with Big Ryan. Got to have a little.
Oh, that's right.
Got to have a little Jersey Mike's sub experience.
Iowa Ryan Jersey, my first Jersey Mike sub experience, actually.
It's quite good. Got to catch up with Ryan, get all the details on what's been happening in Iowa these days. Last year we ate at a Wendy's in Cedar Rapids. Ryan tried to find us later. Of course, we were gone. So this year we did make the plans ahead of time to meet up. It worked out great. It was a nice little pit stop, and then we hit the road again.
Jersey Mike's was better than much better than Subway, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. They have real
much better than
ingredients.
Subway. Much better than Jimmy John's. Much better than Jimmy John's. Not even close. And I've had Firehouse subs, and that was good. I don't know. Maybe people like Jersey Mike's better, but they're kind of on par to me from my one experience, at least.
It's been enough years. It's been a while for me since I've had
Shane.
Firehouse subs, so I can't give an accurate comparison. But there's one by my house. Maybe for research purposes, I should head there.
Strictly for research. Research.
Yeah, I would get
purposes.
zero enjoyment out of it. I just purely for research for the podcast. And we hit the road again. Where did we go to? I don't even know if we really honestly made a stop again until that night, did we?
Oh, well, no significant stop, at least until we got to Indiana, where we met up with Big Bob.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Just on the other side of Indianapolis.
Yeah, east side of Indianapolis.
Love's
Tanner
truck stop.
had a transaction that needed to take place.
Yeah, so we met up with also we went to like 17 Love's truck stops on this trip. But met Big Bob from Indiana, just on the east side of Indianapolis, to load up. What did I get from Big Bob? I got a couple pairs of round head dumbbells for my vintage collection. He had my 90s and 95s.
And that collection is getting dangerously close to being
dangerously
done.
close. He had those, and then he also had just some York milled plates. And I've got some York milled plates that the weight tree could have each had one more plate on it. So I bought 2 pairs.
Symmetry, of course.
Yeah, symmetry. So I bought 2 pairs of milled York plates from him also. And that was
watching this maneuver happen in front of us.
So I
here.
was like, it's like, do not make that
Watching
lane
this
change.
trailer sideswipe into an Athlon while we have a guy driving over here. There's some interesting things happening right now.
There has been. You're going to get some of that stuff in Car Talk episodes. You know, that's
The play-by-play commentary of rural Iowa.
But we picked that up. It was a really quick transaction. Big Bob was a good guy. He said he's now following along on YouTube.
I like the fact that we got a text from Bob this morning saying he found what video did you watch again?
The restoration where I restored the round head dumbbells.
Yeah, the round head restoration video, and he was a big fan. So, Good to know we could make a fan, make
Right.
a person of interest along the way too.
And then we just continued on and made it until Dayton that night, right?
Yeah, I got to Dayton, so I think, was it 9 o'clock or so we rolled into Dayton? And also, working out in our favor, we were directly across the street from a Texas Roadhouse, and
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
ate
right.
like kings that night.
I do think maybe I've been to Texas Roadhouse once in my life, but it was like when I was in high school almost, so
I think,
I have no...
I cannot remember if I'd been there many, many years ago, but
Right.
I'd recently gone about a month or two ago. Thought it was pretty good. For as far as chain restaurants go,
Right.
that you're going to order a steak at, I would never in a million years order a steak at a chain restaurant. This one I did, and I was happy with it.
It was really good.
And same thing, we went in here, we went in
I
late.
had a loaf of bread there.
Tanner,
too.
I watched Tanner eat
I was really hungry that night.
Tanner ate a loaf worth of buns.
I don't know if we didn't eat it. Well, we had Jersey Mike's at like 11. And then,
And then, we didn't eat
that-
again until about 9 o'clock at
Right.
night. So Tanner put down a whole lot of bread. We had steak, we had ribs, we had the sides, couple of brewskis, and it was a good experience. Enough to put it in your belly and pass you right out. We walked across the street back home, but then I woke up at about 2 and thought, I am so uncomfortably full right now that sleeping is somewhat difficult.
I would note, I remember this from like, I think it was probably an Arnold recap episode from years past, and someone made the comment like, oh, came into this with thinking it's an Arnold recap, and they talked for like 30 minutes about the drive and the food that they
Yeah, we haven't even got to the expo yet.
Just recapping their trip for an hour, like just literally just explaining two guys driving in a vehicle together.
Yeah. Hey, we got nothing else to do, so you're stuck with us.
Yeah.
But we did wake up the next morning. Dayton to Columbus, about an hour drive, so really quick. We were one of the first people, like a smaller booth like us,
Right.
to roll into the
There were the
loading
big
dock.
ones there that were already
Yeah.
set up like earlier in the
But
week.
they get more of a head start
Yeah.
on us. We rolled right up to the loading dock. There was no one there, almost to the point where it seemed like, are we even allowed to be here because we were there so early?
Is this a trap?
I think
Like-
by the time we unloaded the car, got everything to the loading dock, and you parked the vehicle for a little bit, or got everything to our booth, you had the vehicle parked and we were in there. I think it was 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I remember looking, it was 10 o'clock, and the booth was basically done at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would have told us to go home at that point, we could have, and we would have been fine the next day. But then people started showing up, so we started, Big Minnie and his wife, and our fiance, I believe is the correct term to use there. And then, did Eddie show up yet that morning? I can't remember.
He must have. He was working on the straight. He was working on the.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah. Eddie was there pretty early.
Platform project. It basically went off without a hitch. So.
Right, yeah. So we got our booth set together really fast. It went smooth, no surprises. It was 10 o'clock. We were mostly done. We were kind of messing with some things for a little bit. By that point, Grant was there. They were working on their project. Unfortunately for them, someone forgot to bring the board stretcher, so that presented some problems for their woodshop project they had going on.
Classic mistake of forgetting the board stretcher.
Yeah,
it's like I always say, you measure twice and cut once.
And if you're going to cut incorrectly, have the board stretcher still.
Yeah,
That's
just in case.
that's
That's a
what you
feel
want.
safe.
But we got ours done pretty early. Made our way over to the North Market, right?
Yeah, there's a crew of us that went over the north. Yeah, the Strength Co. Some of the Strength Co. group, and then I know Minnie came, and was Eddie there too?
Eddie was there too.
Yeah.
We all got to go to the North Market, hit up the infamous Hubert's Polish Kitchen.
It wouldn't be an Arnold trip. It honestly would not feel like an Arnold trip if we didn't go to Hubert's.
That's
Polish
what really
Kitchen.
signifies you've arrived in
Yes,
Columbus.
right.
Is when you have some Hubert's.
It was just as good as always, I would say.
We've maybe
having
even
that once a
honed.
year is such a treat.
We've maybe honed our experience and even knowing
we get it better.
What
and better.
ones to you can't go too much on the you can't overdo the pierogies. You just can do unlimited pierogies. So we lean into the pierogies harder and harder every year.
Yeah, so it's why am I only getting one or two of the thing that's really let me just really capitalize on the most tasty things.
We're going all in on that.
Yeah.
So everyone had a good time there. After that, we walked back to the expo, and that was when we kind of started bugging people a little more. We were basically done with our thing, so it just turned into us harassing other people, supervising other projects.
Yeah.
And I think we sat at the expo for about 5 or 6 hours. We were there a long time.
Yes. Yeah. We actually kind of met several people that we hadn't talked to before then. maybe most notably as we were standing in the aisle, I think over by the Strength Co booth or somewhere around there, and who walks in? None other than the one and only Greek freak himself, the Grizzly.
The Grizzly, yes.
Yeah.
And the Grizzly's translator, his handler translator, said he's a big fan of Massenomics, so he stopped to talk to us.
The translator is a big fan of
Yes, Grizzly's translator.
Who subsequently, I didn't understand this, he's got a following himself. He's
does the Stronger by Science podcast right now, right?
Yeah, he like is maybe even like a part owner of Stronger by Science or he's like heavily involved. You know, he's
exercise scientist.
Yeah, he's a PhD, and
so sorry for forgetting your name.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a candidate as someone. After meeting him and talking to him in person, he'd probably be a really fun guy to have on the podcast. So I think that'll happen at some point in time. But I interrupted. Yeah, he who was Grizzly's interpreter for the weekend, we found out was a listener of the show and a fan of Massenomics, which was kind of a cool thing. So we got to have a little interaction there with Grizzly.
We did, yep. Got to shake the Grizzly's hand.
Yeah, although he speaks no English.
Yeah. But you could tell there was mutual respect. We both understood each other.
Yeah, real recognized real for sure. And that's kind of most of what we did that evening until we went out and ate, right?
I think so. And we went out with the Huck Finn barbell crew.
Yeah, we went up to the Huck Finn
we got invited
room.
right into the hotel room.
The classic. You haven't really hung out with the Huck Finn barbell crew until it's a rite of passage for anyone that's hung out with them over the years. I know we'll have several listeners that have.
To get invited to the hotel room?
To go to their hotel room.
Do a little pregame.
Yeah, you pregame in the Huck Finn barbell hotel room. And that was a lot of fun. And it was fun. We won't share them, but just swapping a lot of
insider
stories with
years
Finn.
of experience.
Yes. Getting some of Finn's best stories that he maybe isn't able to share to the general public all the time. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's always a lot of inside scoops you get at these things.
Yeah. Where did we even eat that night?
We went to that
I don't know
bar right across the street. I can't remember what it's called either.
Yeah.
Right across the street from the expo.
Okay.
And just drank a bunch of beers, ate a bunch of food, and then it was time to go home.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we had some great stories.
Right. There was great stories
at the
along
bar,
the way.
but headed home. Next day, expo time.
Yeah.
And wait. One detail though. When did we meet Mitch Hooper? Was that the night before?
I think that was that night when we were setting up, because Trey Mitchell had come over and we were talking to him. Yes, that was Thursday night.
So Trey
that was a good story.
Yes, so Trey Mitchell came by, which great. But we keep in touch with Trey, so we kind of know what's going on there, and we had planned for him to do a meet and greet at the booth on Sunday, and so we were just catching up. And while we were standing there, Mitch Hooper, we see him walking down the aisle because he is enormous and there wasn't many people there, and he came over in his confusing accent that I still can't quite wrap my head around.
Finger on exactly.
And he goes, "Oh, Massenomics, I love you guys." He said, "I was listening to the podcast on the way here.
Yeah.
What is it, Northern, Southern, West Dakota?" Yes, he gets the joke.
And
that's
then
awesome.
he's like, we were talking about getting him on the podcast. He's all game for it. And maybe he's listening to this even. And he had made the comment of, if we think he'll pass overrated, underrated.
Mm-hmm. He got the overrated, underrated.
So we got to come up with good
he said it'd be right up there with World's Strongest Man title.
I told him we have to put that on the same shelf as the World's Strongest Man title, and that's where Trey keeps his, is right next to his like Shaw Classic win trophies and everything.
So that was, and then he had his film guy there filming the whole thing too. So that was cool. I think we were maybe in the background of a YouTube video. Yeah. Oh, and also along the lines of that, setting up the booth, ABC Channel 6 News asked if they could interview us. So I did have an appearance on ABC 6 News Columbus.
Huck Finn made it on Channel 4 News.
We are 50% better than them though.
So that's on
why.
Channel 6 News. True story, actually.
So if you look around on the ABC 6 News website, there is actually a clip of me out there speaking briefly about the Massenomics booth. I haven't really tracked that one down, but someone did put a little piece of it in the Discord. Yeah. So we know it's out there. Otherwise, the expo did start the next day. Got there bright and early, got set up, and the crowd for a Friday morning, we were blown away how many people were there. It did feel like it was a different Arnold experience right off the bat. Had a lot of people coming up to the booth. We could tell you about every interaction. We could tell you about 1,000 interactions that happened, but that would just won't turn into a super long time, so we'll try to remember the things. Lots of people brought us things of interest.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I think from
New York.
Yeah, was it Long Island or
yeah,
somewhere in
he's
New
from
York?
Long Island, yeah.
He brought us the actual Coors Light Twins cups
Like
from
circa, he bought them on eBay.
Yes,
after
the
we
ones
talked
we were
about
actually
it.
talking about on eBay,
Yeah.
and it says "Catch the Twins" in Scary Movie 3. So we got those cups, which was amazing. Lots of sparkling waters were brought our way.
Yeah.
We had a few different what's in the cans, beers brought
Joey
our way.
brought some sparkling waters.
We had a lot of energy drinks that were brought our way as well. So lots of goodies arrived at our booth. And the first day, was there anything special about the first day besides meeting all the people?
Besides
that came
everything.
Up? Yes, besides everything. Was there anything special?
Yeah.
I can't even. I don't know. Just,
No, there's too much, really. It's hard to pinpoint certain things, but there was just a lot. And who did we go out with that night?
oh, so I think it was that the. No, the first. Did we go with the Strength Co that night?
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to
Yeah.
Strength Co, went to the chicken place.
Right.
Right?
Where
walked
we
all the
ate
way.
family style.
Yes, we walked all the way to the chicken place, had a little family-style dinner. Had been looking forward to it all year, to sit next to Big Grant and just catch up. And Grant decided to lose his voice that
Like
night.
completely, he couldn't speak.
Couldn't speak. So
Yeah.
I had to talk to everyone else, which is still great.
Yeah.
But Grant and I had talked specifically about how we were going to catch up. And there wasn't a whole lot of catching up that we were able to do.
Yeah.
But I did get to catch up with Big Connor, Big D, Big Ryan sat next to me as well. Big Eric was there. We got to meet Big Eric and Eric's family. So it was still a very nice dinner, but Grant's voice was in rough shape.
Yeah.
And you got to sit at a different table.
Yeah, we sat in a different spot. So I sat next to Big Emmett and then Big Trey and Big Jeff from the OK Podcast, as heard on the OK Podcast. Jeff's wife and Top was there too from the Strength
Right.
Club. And a lot of our evening was, Big Emmett has been a supporting member for quite a while, and he's come to the Lift Hard Levy Classic. And
He was at the
been to
booth last year for
before.
just a little bit.
But this year he really helped out.
Emmett
at the booth.
was,
He was a rock star helping out. At the
He's a
booth.
top candidate for MVP this weekend.
He's like definitely like most improved.
yeah.
Most improved player this
Yes.
year. Like all the help that he provided us this year.
Yeah, Emmett was a rock star this
And
weekend.
Emmett has just some of the best stories too.
He does.
We decided at our table that he's Forrest Gump because
He's been there. He's seen it all.
Yeah. So I got to hear a lot of stuff from Emmett, which was really fun that night. That was cool.
And then a lot of the Strength Co people took off a little early, but we stuck around because
Yeah.
we're seasoned vets. We could stay up late.
I stayed up through anything and everything this year. You know, there was no leaving early on my behalf this year.
And who was it? It was me, you,
Trey.
Eddie, Emmett, Trey. Oh, but that was it, right?
I think that was it, yeah.
And we
Yeah.
stayed around and told Scar stories for a few
Yeah.
more hours.
Yeah.
But that was good because I hadn't met Trey. Well, none
Right.
of us had met Trey until this weekend. But just getting to talk with him, we had lots of fun, a lot of good stories. And we kept that going for quite a while. I don't know, until probably getting close to midnight, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I think so, yeah.
Then we shut her down. The next day, back to the Arnold. I think this was the day you and me ran around and filmed a little more content.
Yeah, we got a few interviews in. And also, Big Kevin showed up. Supporting member.
Yeah,
Big
so
Kevin,
Friday,
yeah.
a lot more guys started showing up. So yeah,
Saturday, yeah.
Or Saturday, God,
Yeah.
yes, you're right, Saturday.
So Big Kevin came bearing gifts. He brought the Ohio Pie Co. treats. For everyone at
Yes,
the
which
booth.
was clutch.
Yeah.
Kevin reached out to, if you've been listening for a long time, we're buddies with Nick at Live Large and also of the Ohio Pie Co. But the problem with the Ohio Pie Co., his pizza shop is there close to 2 hours away from it, closer to Cleveland, right? Isn't that where they're at?
Yeah.
So they're closer to Cleveland. It's not super convenient to bring pizza from there, especially when Nick's coming down a day or two before. But Kevin orchestrated with Nick to bring some pizza down on his way. They worked out the how it was going to work. I think, what did Kevin bring down? 8 pizzas?
Yeah.
And so Kevin showed up at 10:30, 11 in the morning with just a fat stack of pizzas.
Yes.
A little bit of everything. And so we had Ohio pie to snack on all day. It was awesome. It was so good. It does live up to the hype.
Yeah, we had several different varieties, but I gotta say, the best is the pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
And that's what Nick says is the most important. You got to be good on.
He said your
cheese and
shop, a
pepperoni.
good pizza shop has to have a good cheese, a good pepperoni. Everything else can be fun, but that's how you really judge them on a cheese and pepperoni.
His pepperoni,
it lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So we ate a lot of that. Kevin showed up, Joey and Steve's wife.
Yep.
Our resident
Canadian contingent.
Our resident sister podcast host and goalie showed up. Steve's Steve's title on the name badge was he was the goalie.
Yes.
They showed up as well. Who else? I mean, there's a lot of other people. Nate showed up.
Yeah, Big Nate. There was Nate,
the technical guy.
The Minnesota Department of Lifter Safety was there spotting and loading all weekend for the USAPL meet, and I was thinking, like, it's very possible that I met 40, 50 crew, because there's also Big Tyler Thompson was there competing.
Yes.
Big Andrew Montoya was there competing.
The man with two first names, Tom Ryan, which also aligns with me and my brother.
Yes. Also
Big Daniel.
And then Big Noah, who we found out looks exactly like Flying Ryan in many ways. Like, he is his doppelganger, right?
Very, very close.
Like, he walked up and you were like...
I did a double and triple take because I thought Big Noah was Ryan. I was so confused. They're of similar size, similar height, similar fashion sense, same haircut, same sunglasses, same glasses, same shoe choice, same facial hair.
And he had just gotten a brand new tattoo.
Which is something my brother says a lot when you see him in person.
Yes.
So way too many coincidences there. It was a little creepy. I'm still not sure how I feel about that whole situation because there's a lot of resemblances there.
But Andrew Montoya also, he was competing in weightlifting, and he brought a pair of I was purchasing from him a pair of vintage York 100-pound double-sided plates. What was sweet is I just let him know where my pickup was at the hotel. He just dropped him off
Popped him in the back.
And also Big Eddie, by way of Big Waffle Iron, brought my pair of 80-pound York round heads.
Right.
And I can't even remember where I got those, exactly where we were at.
Well, did you do the transaction, or did Eddie take care of it for you? Did he bring him in here? Like, did you guys?
No, they never came into the convention.
Oh.
Do I have those? I have those. Those are in the back. I got them at some point. I just don't remember when.
Speaking of that, did remind me of one detail we overlooked on Friday. I believe it was Friday. We had a quick one pulled on us with the West Virginia contingency.
Oh, yes. That was good. Yeah, I explained that one.
So, our buddies from West Virginia, Travis and Stu, they
owners of the Lift Hard Gym.
Yes, over the Lift Hard Gym. If you're in the area, definitely check them out. But Travis and Stu came out for Crew Falls. Got a semi pulling over on the side of the road here. They flew out from West Virginia to Crew Falls, December to remember, a moment that we'll all remember for the rest of our lives.
It was a December.
We had a great time. We lifted, we drank beers, we ate food, we made memories, and they also came out to the Arnold, and they were bearing a special gift. They were coming with gifts, Tanner.
Yeah.
This is a little more special gift because this gift played into the Texas Power Bar's ad read timeline.
Yeah.
They had a Champion barbell.
Yeah.
Not an Image barbell. It was then that Image barbell became Champion barbell, and Buddy started looking at the bars with intent of changing them for the better.
Yeah.
And that part of the timeline they had was the Champion barbell.
So they had brought that. So we now have, it's in the back of the pickup right now, an actual authentic Champion barbell. It says Champion on the end cap.
And what also, not only did the Champion barbell make their visit memorable, but they pulled a quick one on us. So Travis, and who we assumed was Stu, Travis and Stu showed up to the booth, and they're like, "What's up, guys?" And we're chatting for...
And we had just hung out with these guys for a weekend a few months ago.
Yeah, just a couple months ago. And we're chatting, having a good time, and just, nothing seems different. And then all of a sudden, Stu is also to my right, holding a barbell, and I'm going left.
Another Stu walks up.
I'm going left, I'm going right, I'm going left. And what is going on here? It's the twins!
The twins.
And we totally forgot that Stu has a twin brother, Spencer, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I believe it was Spencer. So they tricked us. Spencer was parading around as Stu.
Yeah.
And then they got us with that one, and it was very tricky. I actually thought maybe there was something wrong with my head. Am I having a stroke at the moment?
There was the split second of like, what? what's happening? Like, and even we did know that, and actually Travis has a twin too, which is kind of
right.
crazy.
That would have made it even crazier.
If they would have both come and.
So they pulled a quick one on us, but they brought the gift. It was a ton of fun. I think this is a good segue though to read some ads, Tanner.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll start it out with reading the Texas Power Bars ad, being that we did just receive another piece of the Texas Power Bars timeline. Like we said, the image barbell. I can't recite the whole timeline from memory, but I would say it was sometime in the 1970s that Buddy Capps first started working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around a few years slightly after that, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with the intent of changing them for the better. Sometime in the 80s, Buddy bought his first lathe. It was then that he began addressing the known issues. His passion drive, I messed that up. His passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, world, international, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set on the Texas Power Bar. To buy one of your own,
to learn more
and have one of your own, visit TexasPowerBars.com.
Yeah. Also check out a recent YouTube video we posted, our most recent as a recording, where we go through our full collection of Texas Power Bars. We kind of have this full collection. We didn't have the Champion Barbell now, so now we have even another step in the history.
It keeps growing. Yes, it does.
So also, as long as we're at it, make sure to check out Build Fast Formula. Build Fast Formula, our neighbors, just kind of actually right smack dab between Tommy and I in Watertown, South Dakota. They got a cool variety of supplements there. My personal favorite is the 80-20 protein and chocolate flavor. It's kind of the blend they came up with that they think is the ideal blend. 80% casein, 20% whey. They've also got the Vaso Blitz pump supplement, and then they've got their caffeinated pre-workouts also. Check them all out. Most important part, make sure you use discount code Massenomics. That'll save you 10% off everything there. If you sign up for a subscription on any of the products, you can save an additional 10%, making the total savings 20%. Also be on the lookout for them if you're coming to the 2024 Lift Hard Live Easy Classic. They will be there in a booth representing. Thank you, Build Fast Formula.
All right, let's pick up.
Should I do supporting our sporting members?
Oh yes, yes, if you can. And also we have some.
In addition to all the
we have some rainfall coming down at the moment, so if you're picking up static, it's not our mics. There is rain.
Okay, so obviously shout out to everyone that. If anyone doesn't know, this is a little segment. It's called Supporting Our Supporting Members. We do it every week on the show, even when we're on the road. It's no exception.
Is this guy getting over, Tanner?
Not on my watch.
Nope. Okay.
He'll wait his turn. I'm a trucker too, damn it. Don't you see this trailer here?
We're all hauling valuable materials.
Yeah. So we do this segment every month or every week on the podcast. We like to give back to our supporting members. This is one of the ways we do it. Also, we give everyone an opportunity to listen live to the podcast. And it's the only way, if you become a supporting member, that's the only way that you can sign up for our exclusive Discord community. Also, we do occasional mailings where we do surprise items. Those should be getting mailed out this week as we speak.
You might even have yours by now.
Yeah, it's very possible you could have yours. Those will be coming soon, so be on the lookout for a very cool, fun surprise. And if you'd like to sign up, just check out massenomics.com/join. That's where you can sign up. But a few supporting members we want to shout out, in addition to everyone we've already mentioned. Big Bryce was nominated for the Golden Heart Award at work. Congratulations, Big Bryce.
Very prestigious.
Big Abby Thomas was a finalist for the top 4 under 40 program in Watertown. Big Dean competed in his first powerlifting meet in 4 years. He had a 496 squat, 352 bench, and a 507 deadlift. Then we've got Big Matt Sundling. He had a 446 squat, 276 bench, 551 deadlift for a 1237 pound total PR, Then I've missed a bunch this week. Just being at the Arnold, it's hard to keep up. There's no service in there. But I know Big Jen competed in a powerlifting meet. Congratulations to her. Big Ryan from Iowa was also there to cheer her on. There was other stuff, but I just...
Big Daniel.
Big Daniel competing he did 1760 total, PR total in the XPC meet.
Big Sam Brown,
a 2,000-pound total in the XPC
total.
meet. Good call on Sam Brown. Big Andrew Montoya competed in weightlifting and did like a 185 kilogram clean and jerk.
Yeah, over 400 pounds.
Big Tyler Thompson competing in the amateur strongman event there. A bunch more, honestly. It really is hard to keep track of it all because there's so many people that have things going on or that helped out in some way. So, good job, everyone. Yeah.
You did it.
So, where are we at? Saturday evening of the Arnold? Did we talk about
I guess the one thing to note is Saturday afternoon at the Arnold, we were able to sneak away from the booth a little bit.
Thanks to the crew members running the booth.
Yeah, we got to shoot a few interviews with different people. You'll see those coming out. We were able to do maybe like a Massenomics tour of the Arnold.
Yeah.
That'll be part of the vlog video, so be on the lookout for that one too.
Fun.
Yeah, just a bunch of random shots, talking to a bunch of random people throughout, just quick sound bites. So yeah, that video is a lot of fun. I think people are going to enjoy that one when that comes out too. Saturday night,
that's when we went out with the crew.
Oh yeah, that's right. God.
Big Joey, Big Steve, his wife, Emmett, Eddie, Nate, his buddy that he came with, the Bearfoot crew came with as well. Am I forgetting anyone there? There's a whole group of crew members. Mini Action Big Mini didn't come with us that night. And we went to Boston's Pizza, followed by a rendezvous, a classic Saturday night at the Arnold Rendezvous at Brothers Bar. And Brothers, for anyone that hasn't been to Brothers, but has been to the Zoo Bar, feels a lot like the Zoo Bar.
Very similar. Yeah. Very similar.
The Zoo Bar right there in western northeast South Dakota. Brothers is just like a little bit bigger.
It's bigger, and it has. Well, actually, the zoo has an outdoor section now too.
Right.
Brothers has the garage doors that open.
Right.
That give it that open floor plan that everyone's looking for.
And it was nice enough. Like the weather was pretty decent. When we left South Dakota, it was 0 degrees. And on our way back now, well, it's cooling off a little bit.
It's still 45-ish right now, so it's still nice.
Right.
We also did see, so Brothers, we ran into a few people like we always do. One other thing of interest, when you went to Canada this past summer and witnessed a deadlift competition, the guy that was doing that deadlift competition, we saw him at the Arnold.
And he was like, hey, I'm that guy, and like the gym owner, so it was in St. Malo in Canada, and it was where I just happened to be driving by with my family. And we were like, hey, what's this? And we stopped to look. Those people were there, and they came up to the Massenomics booth and introduced themselves. So that was kind of a really fun coincidence. And then they were also at Brothers that night rocking Massenomics shirts.
Yep, some of the first people we saw, they had the gear on. So we stayed pretty late, missed a few people. Turns out a few people showed up midnight-ish or later.
The Department of Lifter Safety.
Minnesota Department of Lifter Safety, speaking specifically of you guys, yes.
Yeah.
Just missed them, though. And that brings us to Sunday.
Also, I guess we got to meet C.T. Fletcher.
Oh, yes, that was on Saturday, yes. Got to meet C.T. That was very cool.
That's one person we haven't met before. He was at the Strength Co. booth.
Yep, had an enormous line for him. So people still got the respect for him, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Super nice, though. He just can talk to everyone that comes in. He had a good one.
Very probable that we have him on the Massenomics podcast sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to see that happen. He said, how do I get hair like you guys? And I think you told him, you just got to tell it I command you to grow.
You have to command it to grow. I got C.T. Fletcher. Said you just have to, and he was like,
he liked that.
My motherfucker. I don't know if that's what he said.
He was thinking it, though.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking. He was like, so that was really cool. And the Strength Co. had a cool set where they had like the C.T. Fletcher audio track playing the whole time.
Yes, that was good. Like cool. the C.T. remix over the 90s Compton beats.
It was really cool. What else happened? The other thing, just in general, the cage was set up this year.
Oh yeah.
And it was really good to see that back up and going.
I happened to walk by at one point when John Hack was doing his 915-pound deadlift, I believe.
Yep.
So I got to see that. That was really cool.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of big lifts in there. You know, Hunter Henderson squatted 650 for a triple. I think Big Julius benched 740. Big TD Smash was in there.
Brianni and someone else had a little
Big
deadlift.
Ken, Ginger Achilles.
Yes. Did a 2,000-pound total or 2,200-pound total in like a minute or something.
And we shot the shit with him a couple times, and he is
enormous.
So muscular.
He's also high on the list of people that will probably be on the podcast soon.
Yes, he will be coming soon as well. That's definitely one that will be happening soon. Especially he's in on the joke a little bit, so that'll be a fun one. But God, that guy's huge. Also, well, if we're getting to Sunday, Big Bobby came over and did a meet and greet, and I think I made this comment is sometimes I forget how big some of these people are until you see them in person, because the internet doesn't really do it justice.
Well, and they're always around guys that are also their size too.
Right. And then like Bobby walks up and I'm like, my God, I forgot how big your upper body is.
God, there's traps are like.
Yes.
I'm not saying how he's incredibly wide across the shoulders.
Yes.
But also the thickness and the height of the traps is just incredible.
So he did it. So Sunday, I guess that's kind of towards the beginning of the day. But Big Bobby did a meet and greet, which was a lot of fun. A bunch of people got to come over and get his autograph and stuff like that. Also, just as far as the pro strongman, Hooper won it. Everyone would know that by now. But Thor had a very impressive showing.
Maybe the world's easiest 1,000-pound deadlift.
Everyone was talking about it on Friday, and my phone would never load. It wasn't until Friday night when we were in our hotel room that I finally got to watch it, and I was like, oh my God. Like, that was my actual reaction. It's like, oh my God, how is that possible?
Yep.
I think he ultimately faltered some on the other events and came down the pack quite a ways, but Hooper won. Wouldn't be a huge surprise, I guess.
No.
I'm sure he's one of the favorites for sure going into it, so not a surprise there. Sunday, Big Trey Mitchell also did a meet and greet at the booth, which is fun because we've gotten to know Trey more and more over the years, so that just gets more and more fun, and he's building a really cool home
got
gym
to hear
right
about his
now.
home gym plans. Got some pretty cool
got some
things
really
in the works
cool
there.
equipment coming there, which we won't spoil the surprises.
I think he made a few comments though of like it's got to be better than Brian's.
Right. He's
certain
competing
things.
with not Massenomics Brian, but Brian Shaw. He's talking about. I get confused if people. Also, a lot of people came up this year with. Well, I don't know what the biggest Massenomics joke comments were this year. It's definitely not the lift shorts anymore. That still comes up, but this year it was the twins.
Twins was popular.
The chicken bake, which we sold out of the chicken bake shirt. So a lot of chicken bake comments. What were we just talking about there?
A lot of people regarding Tango Charlie had
Tango
some strong
Charlie
feelings.
came up a lot.
Tango Charlie has really soiled their reputation these last few months.
Actually, somewhat real talk is we found out a lot of more. I hadn't expected to find out so much inside baseball about Tango Charlie over this trip, but for as much as I badmouthed them before, I was only
it all
badmouthing.
stands.
Yeah, now even I'm like, oh, you guys are even bigger pieces of shit.
We found out they're not actually veteran owned. The reason they say veteran founded is because they were veteran founded, but they got sold. So now they just are veteran founded because a veteran.
It was basically the company that it sounds like the original owners of Tango Charlie were good dudes or dude or whatever it was.
Actually, how much? I don't know how much was to say, but we found out that there was a marketing company that was doing. This is the story we heard. The marketing company was doing the story doing the marketing for them regarding especially their lift-heavy pet dogs.
Right.
And they realized how much money they were making, so they bought out the company, and they're just like, we'll just run the company based solely around this lift-heavy pet dogs shirt. And that's who runs the company now. Just some random faceless marketing company that's just now at this point ripping people off and doing whatever they can to try and make a buck.
Proudly advertise veteran founded, which isn't inaccurate, but that's like a really weird thing.
Grasping at straws to market your company.
Right. Like here's my company. I know a veteran.
Yeah. We're actually partially veteran. You could actually say Massenomics might be totally veteran founded, but we're half veteran owned, and we still don't use that, and that has more weight than your veteran founded thing from a long time ago. Like, you're not benefiting a veteran at this point.
Exactly.
And we've heard various other stories about them from a few other people that maybe had less than positive things to say about them.
Very less. A lot of other people.
We actually even had Karen Finn, Huck Finn's wife, brought a guy over that said he worked for Tango Charlie, and he did try to justify and say that the lift shirts were totally different.
And she was backing him in a corner.
And then got him into a corner,
time.
and they said, well, everyone rips off everyone. It's all the same now. Which is like, man, when you're getting to that point,
She was really putting the squeeze on for him. It got a little awkward.
And we we caught that guy taking a picture of us down the aisle. I go, Tanner, do you see that guy down there? He's like, yeah, who is that? Because I could tell he was taking a picture of us. That is the Tango Charlie guy. He was taking a picture of us from far away. So weird.
Yes. And the best Tango Charlie story, though, we were on the lookout for someone wearing a Tango Charlie shirt because we had a little plan if we could execute, and it came together perfectly. So this guy walked by, a pretty big dude, red-haired guy, I don't know his handle or who it was, but he was wearing a Tango Charlie shirt. So I wasn't going to do it because I was like backing out at the last second. Then I'm like, screw it, I'll go ask him. So I just said, hey, I see you're wearing that Tango Charlie shirt. We just kind of have this Tango Charlie thing going on right now. It's a big, long story. I'll spare you some of the details. But I'll just ask you, do you know who Huck Finn Barbell is? He's like, oh, yeah, of course.
I love Huck Finn.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, great. I think you're going to like this.
We're all on the same page here.
If we have Huck Finn destroy that shirt and rip it off your body and give you a new shirt in return, a Massenomics shirt, would you be down for that? And he's like, oh, sounds awesome. I would love to. So we did this whole, Huck Finn shreds it off his body, rips it off
him, spits on it,
throws on it, stomps on it, spits on it.
It was hilarious.
F Tango Charlie,
We only like Massenomics.
And then where did it go from there?
And then after that, Huck Finn decided, no, we don't like Massenomics. So then he rips the Massenomics shirt off the guy, and then puts a Huck Finn Barbell shirt on him.
The guy's loving it.
Then shortly after that, Huck Finn decides, no, we don't like Huck Finn Barbell either. Rips the Huck Finn Barbell shirt off of him and puts a Live Large shirt on him. So this guy got 3 shirts ripped off of him in the course of 5 minutes. And I'd like to think he loved every second of it, and it also probably made his Arnold weekend because there was no way he was expecting something like that.
And Huck had like the Marines were across from us, and they had a gladiator mask replica on, and he was wearing that during it, and it was a ridiculous scene, and it was a lot of fun. People were all watching like, whoa, what's going on, It was fun. But still, like, we learned, nobody there was like, actually, guys, Tango Charlie is not that bad.
Yeah, no one had anything to be like, oh, lay off on them. Everyone's like, no, they deserve it.
But the number of people that came up and also, it was shocking the number of people that came up and also had like a story about this Tango Charlie company, a company I essentially didn't know about at all.
Or had said, I tried to leave a comment and they blocked me. The number of people that said they got blocked by Tango, like people that we don't even really know. Like, I saw they ripped you guys off and that's shitty of them, so I left a bad comment and they blocked me. Or, I saw that they turned off all their comments because they knew that they were ripping you off and they didn't want to get caught, so they blocked me, or they blocked comments on that one. So people are very aware in the space of the shady shit they're doing.
Right. So back to Sunday. Anything else wild and crazy that went down Sunday? Well, I mean,
I did acquire something. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on Sunday though that is worth. I mean, Tanner got a haircut at the Sranko booth.
Oh yeah, I got my first haircut in over 4 years. Okay, the funny story about that, Grant wanted to do it on their platform stage that they had built, which was fun. And Big D, his wife, is a hair cutter, so she was doing the actual haircutting when we were there. We set up on the stage, and it's right across from the SBD, big elevated SBD area. And at the time, Big Z and Mateusz were up there. And once my haircut was kind of done, Grant gave me the microphone for the PA system, and I was yelled at them until they got
before it actually even started.
Oh yeah,
Connor, ladies and gentlemen, and Arnold first. Tanner will be getting a haircut, and the crowd instantly starts forming around because they see this guy come out with long hair, and like you're saying, they had to think you're getting your head shaved. And then Dee comes out, and she's brushing out your hair and just trimming up the ends of it, and it had to be the most anticlimactic scene.
People start to dissipate, but then everyone that walks by is looking like everyone's interested and intrigued at what's going on here. I think just long enough until they deduce that I am just getting a little haircut, and they're like, oh, okay, I
you're
don't need to
wasting my
watch
time.
this. Yeah.
In a room full of extraordinary things, this is not one of them. But to go back though, while you were getting your haircut, the SPD booth was right there.
And I was sitting there and yelling at Big Z and Mateusz and Pete from SPD, and it took a while to get their attention, but finally they did.
On the PA,
Yeah,
Tanner, you're on the PA.
I'm sitting there in my barber chair on the PA, like, I don't know, 50 feet away from him, whatever that is. And I'm like, Big Z, Big Z. And I'm like motioning, I'm like, do you like my new haircut? And like giving him like, do you like it? And he it took him a minute. And then he's like laughed and he's like, oh, gave me the thumbs up. And then Mateusz had been like turned the other direction. So I'm like yelling at him. And I don't know if it's like, Mateusz speaks some English for sure, but I don't know if it's an interpreter.
Probably wasn't quite getting what you were trying to say.
And they had to explain it, and we're doing hand motions of the haircut. And then you could tell he was confused, and he finally got it, and then like laughed and gave me the thumbs up. And I'm like,
and we got it all in video too.
Yeah, so my haircut was approved by Big
Strongman approved.
Yes.
And Sunday, I guess the other
Huck Finn played Country Roads Take Me Home probably 10,000 times.
For maybe 2 hours straight while we were tearing down.
Country Roads.
The one maybe exciting announcement is I have started to dip my toes into the process of the home gym world.
Yes, that was a lot of people will be excited to hear about this.
I had made the comment, I said, there's a chance I feel like I could walk away with some gym equipment this year now that I do have a house once again to put stuff into. Thought maybe if the right opportunity presents itself, I could enter into that world. And our friends at Bells of Steel had made some comments to us. They came over to the booth and had said some things, and they already had a smoking hot deal at the Arnold.
Yeah, for anyone that wanted to.
Anyone there, 50% off whatever they had at their booth. And so full disclosure, I went over and got the 50% off and a little more, which makes things pretty sweet. And I've talked to you about this several times, Tanner, where I'd always said, if I got a rack in my house. So I went, spoiler, I ended up getting a rack. Got a rack. And I'd made the comment several times that I liked the half rack you have. I believe it's the collegiate
half rack. Yeah.
And I liked just the smaller footprint because if I got a rack, I didn't want to go crazy. I didn't want to turn a whole third stall of my garage into this gym. I do need some space for kids things and other things, and it would be it wouldn't replace my total gym experience. It would just be in addition to something that I would have, something that would work out. And they had a 4-post rack with the, did I say 30-inch depth?
Yeah.
So a little more compact, which that one really spoke to me when I saw that. 3x3, 5/8-inch holes, kind of hit all the requirements for what I was looking for in a rack, and a pretty sweet price to boot on top of that. So I ended up getting a Bells of Steel rack. We got it loaded up in the trailer here.
Yep.
And we also have a buddy that runs a company called The Strength Co. And
you may have heard of them.
You may have heard of them. I ended up picking up a bar from Grant. Got the change plates, got a weight tree, deadlift jack too.
Collars.
Yes, collars. Yes, I forgot about all those. The only downside is we're sitting a little heavy. Like we said earlier, you picked up some 45s, you picked up some hundreds, you picked up some round heads. The trailer and the truck were starting to squat a little bit.
The rack in the trailer.
Yeah, so the idea of bringing home 400 plus pounds worth of 45s just was really pushing it. And like bringing a pair of 45s doesn't get me anything. Bringing even two 45s doesn't really get me anything either. So we'll get the rest of that worked out later. But the main thing is I have now made the investment in the initial stages of a home gym. Be a real surprise for my wife. We'll see what she thinks of this one. I'd never even mentioned this concept to her at any point. Earlier. So I'll be very curious to know to hear what my wife thinks of this whole thing.
Yeah, we're gonna find out really soon.
Yeah, so there will be more content coming on that in, I don't know, next couple months. I'm not going home today and like setting this thing up first thing. It'll take a little bit of time.
Well, you don't really have 45-pound plates yet.
Right, yeah, so I can't really work out.
You've got most of the set, like you've got a vast majority of what you need though.
Basically, I could do workouts as soon as I get the 45s, and I could do even more workouts as soon as I get a bench.
Right.
So that will be coming. That'll be coming at some point here. There will be definitely some content built around that, so be on the lookout.
So we always talk about coming home with equipment from the Arnold, and this year was no exception.
Yeah.
A lot of mine is just I mean, all my stuff is just vintage stuff that I had arranged,
Yes.
pre-arranged kind of. But overall, we probably have as much equipment in trailer, in tow now than we ever
Definitely
have on the way
more
back.
weight coming on the
yes.
way home than we did on the way back, or the way there. Was there anything else Sunday, though, of interest? I guess, you know what? We're missing one very important part of the story here. Do you know what that is?
No.
The Arnold bathrooms.
Oh, the Arnold bathrooms. We didn't even touch on the Arnold bathrooms.
We did not even touch
This
on
needs
it.
to be a whole segment, actually. We're not getting close to anywhere where we turn off.
Let me do just a quick look in here.
So we had the Arnold bathroom sticker this year. I survived the Arnold
We're 10 miles out
Okay.
from 880 West.
880 West, that's where we get off.
Looks like exit 27.
Okay.
27 is the magic number.
We'll keep an eye on that. We had the I survived the Arnold bathroom stickers, and we found out we did not bring enough of those because by the end of it, people were coming up to the booth just wondering if this is where they could get the I survived the Arnold bathroom
Everyone
sticker.
was looking for those things.
Yeah, and the bathrooms did not disappoint. I had a few people early in the weekend that were like, I didn't think they're that bad.
And we became the de facto place to report your bathroom experience to. Everyone wanted to come tell us what they experienced.
Yes.
And
we heard a lot of horror stories.
Yes, we heard a lot of horror stories. We saw a lot of horror stories. But you're off to a great start when the expo has not even started and the closest bathroom to us already has multiple stalls that are out of order, which is just a great sign. They're living up to the name right off the bat.
Yes. Other notes, like there was rarely soap in any of the soap dispensers.
Soap was always gone,
which is gross. I'm like, why? Like someone needs to be filling the soap.
The joke
Paper towels were
the joke was
usually gone.
2 years ago we couldn't have the Arnold because of COVID and germs, and here we are. We're 2 years removed, and it's
and
like
they don't even put
soap doesn't even matter anymore. You know what? We've moved on from germs so fast.
Like the first year came back up, we were like, do we need to have like hand sanitizer at the table?
We didn't know if we needed to have masks.
Right.
Like we didn't know what the rules were.
And this year, like now they don't even provide soap in the bathrooms. Like,
yes. So there's always that. Several though, actually there was one. I at one point went to a bathroom far away. I have a secret little bathroom that it's a little bit of a walk, but it's off the beaten path, so you can count on it being the cleanest. It always is the cleanest. And I go in, and even the one that's the cleanest, the first stall I open, there's no toilet paper because you do a pre-check. So I go to the next stall. The toilet seat is just ripped off of it, which is always an amazing scene. Because is someone sliding in so hot that they're ripping it off? Or does someone get done and they're just like, rah, and they grab it and rip? So no toilet seat. So then the third one is finally the lucky stall. But you had witnessed some good things along the lines as well.
Just severe carnage. Also, just the floors just as wet as all ever.
The amount of piss on them. Like you're in there and you know you're inhaling a certain amount of piss fumes whenever you're in there.
The one evening it was really bad, and it was just me and some guy that was obviously a bodybuilder in there, and he had gone to the bathroom, and then both of us were going to the sinks at the same time, and we're checking for soap, and none of them have soap. And one of the sink we both get to in the middle at the same time to find out it doesn't have soap is plumb full of liquid, and it looked like someone either shit diarrhea or puked, and it was plumb full. Like it was like 3 gallons in there, and it was just like stale swirling. And the guy was so angry, and he just goes, like, he didn't say it too, like, he said it out loud, but like sort of.
He couldn't contain his thoughts.
It was just his thoughts out loud, and he's like, God. And it wasn't trying to be funny or anything, but like I almost burst out laughing. He goes, God, this place is fucking disgusting. And just the way he said it, I almost burst out laughing. Like, because he was like, it was one of those moments when you're like, that moment
like I give up. That's it. I'm done. I can't take it.
That is stereotypically what I think of as the Arnold bathrooms. It's not like that all the time, but there's always some times when he's just like, God, this, like he was so mad. He was just, God, this place is fucking disgusting.
I enjoyed at the one right by us at some point. You walk in and to the left is a pot of urinals. It's 3 and 3 on the opposite walls.
Yeah.
And there's the baby changer koala care in the middle. And all I can think of is like, God help the soul of the man who had to change a child in here. But for whatever reason, the koala care baby changer was flipped down.
And just down all week.
It was never back up. And I didn't have it in me to check to put that up.
But you don't want to touch anything.
You don't want to touch it.
Need to be
but
touching.
that thing was down the rest of the weekend. And the sticker, the big koala care sticker, was on the floor the rest of the time. I had some good bathroom sightings, though. One night I ran into Martin Ford in the bathroom. He was walking out. Yesterday...
I was in there with Jerry Pritchett.
Yesterday I was walking and I hear, come on, join the club. Come on in.
Yeah.
And it's Lee Priest welcoming people into the bathroom, which was great, too. Because that's a character to see going into the bathroom. We did see a couple stalls. There was one night when I was going to the urinal, and it looked like an actual crime scene. There was like police tape over it, and there had to have been like an explosion of some kind because there was like black smoke on the urinal. It was just in this state of complete disarray and damage. So, and then I always like it too when you see the body bags over the urinal. They have to, they know that just the police tape isn't enough.
People are going to keep pissing in this thing.
Just the police tape isn't enough to stop someone from pissing on it. They have to totally body bag the whole thing, and that's the only way to stop urine from being splashed all over this thing.
Yes.
But we did hear tons of bathroom scar stories. The Minnesota Department of Lifter Safety, they did relay a story to me that someone they know, a woman in the woman's bathroom, she was in a stall, and the stall next to her, someone just shit on the floor, and she could see it. She could see the shit appear on the floor out of nowhere. So a lot of wild stuff happening in there. And the memes, the stickers, it lived up to the hype.
Yes, it absolutely did.
Do we have anything else from I know we're missing a ton of things. There's just too much stuff that happens. We ran into Juji, got to have a good conversation with Juji.
Juji ran up and gave me a hug, and he's another guy that I guess I just forget how jacked he is.
How jacked he is.
When he grabbed me, I'm like, are you going to split me in half?
And how much, we love him, but we love a lot of people. We don't know how much that bleeds out into the greater population. Right. And he had a massive line for him all weekend, too. People were just chasing him everywhere.
Yes, and we did a little interview with Omar at Rascal.
We tried to bury the hatchet.
Yeah, so we did the best we can. You guys will have to watch and see if the hatchet is fully buried or not.
We got to put a lot of hands in the old vice this weekend.
Shook a lot of hands this weekend. I shook Grant's hand probably 100 times. Yes. That's not an exaggeration, I don't think.
No. I don't know if there was an interaction I had with Grant where I didn't shake his hand at least 3 times.
Yes. Speaking of Grant, if you didn't know by now, we are sponsored by the Strength Co., our good friends over at the Strength Co. You can check them out at places like the Arnold Sports Festival, like we just did. You can find them at the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. Their plates and barbells, I can personally attest, they stand up to just about anything. The beating that they take at the Arnold, people getting deadlifted just 24/7.
Take a licking and keep on ticking.
Yeah, so durability tested, absolutely the Strength Co. I was watching that Strength Co. group spot and load those plates. It almost looked effortless, them being as smooth and easy to grip as they are. Also, those plates, not a bit of wear after a weekend of just getting pounded repeatedly. So durable plates over there. They really are. I got to see every plate that is made this weekend is there at the Arnold in one way or another. And the Strength Co. plates are the nicest looking plates.
Hands down.
Yeah. So check them out at thestrength.co.
And this episode is also brought to you by the fine folks at SwissLink. Now, if we planned a little better and were a little smarter, we would have hopped over to swisslink.com and bought something like a military gas mask, a World War II gas mask.
What about an authentic Czech bedpan? We could use that instead of the Arnold bathrooms.
Czech bedpan would have been good. Maybe some type of...
They probably sell multiple things we could have used to help us out.
Yes, some type of hazmat suit from the Chernobyl era perhaps. A Geiger counter would maybe know if you're safe to enter the bathrooms or not. If any of these things sound interesting to you, you can find this great selection and more at swisslink.com. They're home to all of those amazing things, and the collection is updating all of the time.
You know what else could have been pretty gangster from SwissLink? If we would have showed up with all those instead of like totes like everyone else, we just have a pile of these stainless steel containers that they sell.
Yes.
Like all our shirts are packed in like these really fancy stainless steel.
That would have been making a statement.
We bring our waters in Wavian fuel cans.
Wavian fuel cans. If any of these items do sound of interest to you, though, make sure to hop over to swisslink.com and use code Tanner Massenomics. Go use code MASS to save 15%.
Miles had to correct me on that last time. I think it's MASS.
On your first order. Swisslink.com, code MASS will save you 15%. Thank you, Swisslink.
Excellent. Oh, let's see. Anything else we need to wrap up on this one? The Arnold review of 2024.
Oh, boy.
We sold a lot of shirts.
Okay, yes, we sold a lot of shirts.
Would have liked to sell more.
We would have liked to sell more. The crowd was up, so just being real, the Arnold is always great. It's always worth it to us. The crowd.
And meeting the people
yes,
and everything,
meeting people.
Of course.
There's so many
There's
even
like
intangibles.
An unmeasurable value to that. Like all the crew members, like getting to meet the crew members.
All of it. Yes, there's so many amazing things about
there's
the
so
Arnold.
many crew members we didn't mention here that we still met there that we don't get to meet otherwise if we don't show up.
The crowds were up at the Arnold.
Yeah.
It felt like in a pretty sizable way.
Yeah.
Which got you really hopeful that sales would be up in proportion.
Yeah.
They were not up in proportion. It was still good. It's still the Arnold.
Yeah.
But the sales did not correlate. It felt like the Arnold was 50% busier.
Yeah.
It wasn't a 50% better sales year.
No.
Still good, still worth it, but that was just something of interest for us.
Yeah.
There was one point Friday morning we're like, oh my God, this is going to be wild.
Right.
And it just stayed steady the whole time.
Yeah.
It never got to be that just, what just happened this week? Like it never got there.
I don't think we love our spot anymore.
No, we also talked about this we might be had enough on our spot, especially this year. The booths we were around,
too many
not just conducive
ecosphere
to
booths.
Yes, like we had Huck Finn, which was great.
Fit butters. I don't want to be.
Yeah, we had
near
peanut
Fit
butter
butters.
companies. We had the Marines, pickles,
juice.
a lot of just empty ones,
Yeah.
and that doesn't get us a. It's good to have booths that also draw a crowd and get those people in there. We didn't have that advantage this year, so there's a good chance you will find us in a different spot next year.
We'll be communicating with a lot of other booths. Expect us maybe to do a better job of coordinating with booths like Huck Finn, Barefoot,
Meg Squats,
Juji Mufu,
Juji,
even the Rascal area. Like, expect us to be probably more in anyone that's been there before in that general area, just to I think it's worth a try of something different.
Mm-hmm. And I do believe it is that thing of a rising tide raises all ships. Like we all just feed off of each other.
Yes.
When we can bring that crowd in together, because we do have so much carryover in customers. I don't honestly think we compete that much. Like everyone wants to support everyone.
No, I don't.
And it just honestly it makes us easier to find.
Yes.
Probably makes it easier for the customer too.
Like people just won't miss us because they are going to go to that area and then they'll catch all of us at once. And
so that was a major takeaway for us. Another one too. We talked about this. We hate to use this word, but we're like, maybe we're getting jaded. Like it used to be.
Right.
We'll still never forget in 2019 when we didn't think anyone knew who we were. For someone to come up and be like, I've seen this before. That was mind blowing for us.
Yeah.
To just see the strongmen walk by, we talked about was the craziest thing we'd ever witnessed in our lives. Like, they're right there. We can almost touch them. Now they're coming over and talking to us and saying to listen to our stuffs. And we're like, that's pretty cool. But also it didn't totally change our life to the weekend.
Right.
We have met these people now enough. We're in communication with them. So it's less of the starstruck and more of we think of these people more as peers and friends and less of an online celebrity that was like inaccessible before. So that's changed over the years, and that comes with experience and us maturing. That just makes things a little different. And then what I think maybe the most valuable lesson we got from the Arnold this weekend is it made us that much more appreciative for the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
How special that actually is.
Because that gives us a whole weekend to connect, hang, lift, and party with the people we love most in the Massenomics world.
There's nothing we do that's better than the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
And with this, we get, the crew members, the supporters, the fans.
You get to see a lot of crew members.
They get to stop by, and it's awesome, but we're also kind of working a booth.
Right.
We're kind of
working the entire day.
Yes, we have a lot of stuff going on, and we also don't have the room to accommodate hanging out with dozens of people.
And we can't facilitate them having a good spot to hang out with each other very well, like we can in Aberdeen.
And that was, we walked away from this and we realized, wow, the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic really is that special of an event, because the amount of time everyone gets to connect and hang and bond is just on another level. So if you're listening to this and you're on the fence about competing, you're kind of out of luck. But if you're on the fence about attending the Litard League Classic,
boy.
man, it's just, we are so looking forward to it. It's going to be an amazing year. It's going to be a great time. You're going to make some friendships that, quite honestly, could last you a lifetime.
Right. Yes, I agree with that completely. One other thing you brought up that reminded me that I thought was, like, I don't recall really hearing this phrase that much in the past.
Oh, yes.
Well, people would come up and be, or like I would just meet them on a hallway, and they would just be like, "Oh,
They'd flag us down.
They'd be like, hey man, big fan." And I never remember people just say, like, like non-crew members, like just not even a conversation.
In the past,
just
we've
people
gotten like,
waving.
"Oh, I love you guys. You
Yeah,
do cool stuff."
yeah.
But every day we had multiple people we know or like randoms be like, "Huge fan."
Yeah.
And that's awesome. But we start thinking about, what does that mean? Does that mean they like the podcast?
Right.
Does that mean they like
just know us on
Instagram? Does that mean they like YouTube? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Man, maybe it's a little bit of all of it.
Right.
But it was really cool, the number of people that said that this year.
Yeah. Anything else? Just one overrated, underrated. So overrated or underrated the Arnold bathrooms. That's an interesting one, actually.
It is an interesting one because
what does it even mean at this
what
point? Do you
does it
want them to
mean?
be
Yes.
good or do you want them to be
They
bad?
They are underrated in the way that, yes, they do live up to the hype of, like, you're
Right.
always going to be in for a surprise. They really might be as bad as they are. They might actually even be worse than what they're hyped up to be.
Yeah.
But they are overrated in the way of you got to use that facility,
Right.
and you don't want to be using that facility
Right.
because it is a little shitty, no pun intended.
Very shitty.
I don't know. Is that riding the line though? In
you
the way I
can't
said
ride
that?
the line. Yeah.
Did I play the game wrong? I guess I gave it in two different scenarios, so I'm going to give myself a pass this time and say I
Okay.
did it correctly.
All right. Well, we make up the rules, so we can break them if we want to. Make sure to check out the Massenomics YouTube channel. We'll have several videos coming up soon from the
And
Arnold.
it's not going to be following our regular schedule. We'll have a
we'll
have a
hit
vlog,
hard.
tour video, the
Yeah.
whole thing. But then we're going to have we did a few interview videos, and we're going to pepper
Right.
those in, just so we're not doing Arnold content a month
for
and a half
months.
from now.
Yeah. So make sure to be subscribing on YouTube if you're not already. And also, we have at least one new YouTube video every week in addition to this podcast. So please subscribe. If you don't, leave us a 5-star review of the podcast on Apple Podcasts. If you're a new listener, if you met us at the Arnold and you're checking it out, leave us a review if you could. That helps us out a little bit. And then like us on Instagram, all those usual places. Buy us shirts if you'd like sometime, or a drink spotter. We had some new items at the Arnold that we're going to be releasing later this month on the website. First of all, I've got to get this trailer home and unloaded and things counted, so that's going to be a process. So to be continued on that timeline.
Yes.
Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird. But of course, just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
Oh wait, we forgot to ask the people. Let us know if you like the car format. Maybe we need to do more car podcasts. Maybe that's what's missing from our formula.
I'll just drive down to Sioux Falls like once a week, and we can just drive around.
We'll just aimlessly drive around town, pulling a trailer, doing podcasts.
One person, final note, there was one person at the Arnold that came up and said he would really like more C10 pickup talk.
Oh, yes, there was.
And I told him, thank you. That is all the confirmation I need to talk about more C10. So stay tuned. You know, that one guy, you're going to be in for something special in future weeks here. All right. Did we say where they find us at already?
I think, just in case, you can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.